Now, how do we evaluate the cost of the sort merge join? Well, we're going to sort R, we're going to sort S, and then we're going to scan R and S and merge them in memory. So the cost is basically the cost of sorting R, sorting S, and the scan of R and S. Now, in the worst case, actually all of the joint values of R and all of the joint values of S are exactly the same. That's the worst case. And in that case, the output is the cross product of all the tuples in R and S because everything matches. Okay, and so that thing we do with the mark, it degenerates into a nested loops join, and actually a simple nested loops join or a naive nested loops join. So that cost could be very bad, but that's extremely unlikely, and it's the kind of thing an optimizer would keep an eye out for and avoid. Okay, so you can usually assume that in a sort merge join there's plenty of distinct values in the join columns, and those little mini cross products where we take multiple join keys on R, multiple of the same join key on S, and we form all pairs, that only happens on a handful of tuples like we saw in our example. So assuming that that's the case and we don't pay extra IOs for those little mini cross products of duplicates, how big does the buffer have to be to do this in 2 passes each? Well, suppose that the buffer is bigger than the square root of the larger of R and S. So then both R and S can be sorted in 2 passes. And given that, we can now compute the cost of our algorithm on our inputs. R is 1,000 pages, and we know that sorting is 2 passes of R, so that's 2 read-write passes, so that's 4 times 1,000. Sorting S, again, 2 read-write passes, so that's 4 times 500. And then that final pass to read R, read S, and merge them together in a streaming fashion is 1,000 plus 500, for a total of 7,500 IOs for this sort merge join. Now, in general, figuring out the cost of the sort of the output of the join is a bit tricky because we don't know how big the output of the join will be. It depends on how many matches we find between these 2 tables. But in this particular example, we happen to know that every reservation has exactly 1 sailor, and so the output's going to be exactly the same number of rows as the input table R, the number of reserves tuples. And so we can estimate the cost of sorting the output here as the cost of sorting R, which you can see below, and that's something like 4,000 IOs for a grand total with block nested loops join of 9,500 IOs to do the join and sort the output. So compare that to the cost of the sort merge join. The cost of the sort merge join, we sort R, we sort S, and then we scan the 2. As we said, that's 7,500. So in this case, we can combine the join using sort merge join, and then we get the order by for free, and we do it more cheaply than doing a block nested loops join and then sorting its output. Now I want to show you an important refinement to sort merge join that can save some IOs, and this is something you probably want to do every time you think about sort merge join. So keep this in mind and add it to the sort merge join algorithm in your mind. And this refinement is essentially going to take the joining pass of sort merge join, so that second phase of sort merge join, and it's going to combine it into the last pass of merging during the sorting algorithm that we already learned. So our good old external sort algorithm that we learned before is going to have an extra little wrinkle here where we're going to do joining in its last merge pass. And I'll show you how that works. To do this, we need to have enough buffers in memory that we can be sorting R and sorting S at the same time. So it does require extra memory, but when we have that memory, it's worth doing. So here's how it goes. Pass 0 of R, we're going to read R and write it to disk as usual. Pass 0 of S, we're going to read S and write it to disk as usual. Now, in the final merging pass of R and S, let's say it's pass 1, we're going to merge the R runs and the S runs in memory at the same time. And while we're doing those merges, we're also going to look for pairs across R and S. So think about it. As we're merging the R runs, we always know the minimum value of R in memory at any given time. While we're merging the S runs, we know the minimum value of S at the same time. So we can do those next calls that we did in the merge join algorithm on those runs as they're being merged. So in essence, if you go back to the join algorithm for sort merge join, whenever it says next, imagine doing that next on the merges of the final merge of R and the final merge of S in each of their sort algorithms. And in doing this, we're going to avoid writing out the final pass of R and the final pass of S during sorting. So we're going to lose a pass of R and lose a pass of S. So the cost now is going to be 3 passes of R, 3 passes of S total. That's, in this case, 3,000 plus 1,500. It's only 4,500. Now, as I said, to do this, we have to have enough buffers to sort both relations simultaneously. So that's b greater than or equal to square root of R plus square root of S. which in this case is just 32 plus 23, or 55. So there's not very many buffers to achieve this refinement here in this example.